Number one, who is your spiritual father?
Well, if you are dealing with the issue of fatherhood and submission, most people ask these questions because they come from Pentecostal circles. When you meet people who come from Orthodox background, especially people who come from the North, this question has an angle to it. The concept of mentorship and fatherhood to people who were raised by the North is rather systemic than individual, because the way ministries are in the North, they do not have a single overseer that everybody who comes under submits to. Now, that does not mean it is wrong. Are we together now? I've heard all kinds of teachings about that, and we came from a background where whoever was your pastor, after 3 years you will not see the person again. You get the point now. At various phases of my life and my experience, I've had different people being introduced. I was raised from Ekwa. My grandfather, by the way, was the founding father and the trustee of the Church of Christ in Nations. So I came from that lineage, and then my experience with the evangelical church winning all, and then seasons of mentorship and training under Archbishop Benjamin Kwashi, the Anglican seminary. You see that? But then I think the unique nature of my life mandated and necessitated that I kept having a lot of experiences with different people. I would not frown at the concept of having a single father, an individual who you lead. I submit to the body of Christ. I'm very clear about that. You've seen my relationship with fathers. And I've gone to the Lord in prayer, asking questions on that. And God has planted me across several people, our father in the Lord, Baba Deboye, Bishop Oyedepo, and several people. These are people who represent authority structure. So my concept of fatherhood is a bit different from what is generally understood in the body of Christ. And I don't want to delve so much so that it does not become a template that brings confusion nor plant rebellion to people who are submitting to fathers. That's why I'm careful addressing this. But the concept of fatherhood as we know in church is not all that there is to fatherhood, unfortunately. For various reasons, I may not want to delve into certain things here because this is not exclusively a pastor's conference, else there are things we would have been able to share. But here is my take for whoever is asking that question. If God has planted you in a ministry like this, the man of God, the overseer that he has set over you, becomes your father from the word Abba, the one who begat you in the gospel. That is the original idea of fatherhood, the one who begat you in the gospel. But you see that template is not really ideal, because many people who come are usually already saved and even already transformed. For most of them, there may be men and women who are in ministry who just come to submit to get direction. So what most people call fatherhood is actually mentorship. Fatherhood classically starts from the point of getting you saved and then growing you spiritually. That means there is a track record of having made that spiritual investment in your life. You get the idea now? So there are dimensions of fatherhood, unfortunately, that have been abused in Africa. For many people, it's just a license to show that you are not a rebel. And so people just look for anybody and just continue with a lot of rebellion with no touch at all with the father. The purpose of fatherhood is supposed to be for guidance, for mentorship, for correction. There are other people who have even deviated from the way of the Lord because of honor to fatherhood. This is why I don't want to get into certain details, because you will find out that when fatherhood is not correct, you can literally lose the context of your call. If the father is insecure as a person, he will have to force you to be loyal to the template he has given you, which may be against what God told you, which is the security that Eli had to allow Samuel to evolve. If he had followed the Eli pattern, something will go wrong. So fatherhood issue is very, very complicated, but I will leave you with this word. The man you see is not a rebel. This man you see, I am more submissive than most people that you see. There are results you cannot attain unto except when certain spiritual laws are in place. Are we together? So I hope I was able to help whoever that person is.